Hello, I'm Peter. I was looking around on the internet trying to find a good setup for a kayak trailer, paddleboard trailer, and couldn't really find anything that wasn't super over-engineered or full of expensive parts. And so I decided to come up with a solution for myself. This is what I came up with. It's worked great for me. Maybe it'll work for you. So let's take a look at what you're going to need, and then we'll show you the trailer. Alright, well, here it is. So you start with your basic Harbor Freight trailer. It's a 8x4 trailer. It's about 350 bucks, I think. And pretty straightforward to put together, just a little time consuming. And then to attach everything to it, we got a 2x6x8 and cut it in half, and then bolted the two halves to the front and back parts of the trailer there. Then we bought a set of kayak racks off of Amazon for a little over 50 bucks, and some pads for when we put the paddle boards on. You'll see that later. This is a broom rack from Home Depot. The great thing about this is it's all spring loaded, so it holds things really well. And then at the other end we have the tail end of a fishing pole rack, which will come into play later also. So that's your basic setup. It's the trailer and your cheapo Amazon kayak racks, a bit of wood, a bunch of bolts, and some pads. And if you thought this looked a little strange, I designed it so that if you're not using it, you can fold it down out of the way. It's best to do it with two hands, but I've got one hand holding the camera. But I just basically put it on a hinge assembly, so you can fold it down out of the way when you're putting the paddle boards on there. You'll see that later. Flip it up when you need to hold fishing poles or paddles. Alright, so that's the basic setup for the paddle boards. If we're just going paddling, we're generally not fishing, we're just paddling. It's too much of a pain in the ass. And you'll see here where the grips come into play, holding those in place, and then just a bungee in the middle to hold them from bouncing around. And that's your basic paddleboard setup. So same deal pretty much as the paddles with the fishing poles. So set them in the broom rack, which holds them nice and tight. A bungee in the middle just to stop them bouncing up and down. Not that I think they will, but it's a good way to transport the poles around so they're not flying around in the back of the truck. Alright, and here's the kayak setup. And before anybody says anything, yes, our kayaks are filthy. We haven't taken them out in a while. They are Hobie pedals, which are great for fishing. So you can maneuver yourself around when you've got a big snook on. Not have to keep grabbing your paddle. So that's our setup for that. And obviously we strap everything down before anybody loses their mind that nothing's strapped. We do strap everything down. Alright, and finally, the trips up to the springs with friends or with the girls. We can set up both the paddle boards and the kayaks, hence the pads. The rest of the gear can go in the back of the 4Runner. And that's it.